Hello and welcome to the Rodge review. Today I will be talking about my views on Cyberpunk 2077. I recently finished playing it through. I got one of the endings and I feel I've got enough experience of the game to give a review now. Yes, Cyberpunk 2077 is based on the Mike Pondsmith's Cyberpunk role-playing game. It was published by CD Projekt and developed by CD Projekt Red. The game's director was Adam Badowski. It was produced by Konrad Tomaskiewicz and was written by Marcin Blacha and Tomasz Marchuka. Play as the customizable mercenary V. Early on in the game, you go on a mission, a heist. The mission goes wrong, and you end up with the mind of Johnny Silverhand, this revolutionary from actually technically in the past, since Cyberpunk 2077. I think the original material for it was written a long time ago, and so we've kind of outlived some of the points in the Cyberpunk's past. Anyway, your mind is slowly being taken over by Johnny Silverhand, and obviously you want to get rid of this, and the majority of the game is spent trying to find a way to separate yourself from him. Game has an excellent soundtrack that helps capture the mood of the game's story sections. There's a lot of good tracks on the radio station, although the best stuff is on Vexelstrom, so I always leave my vehicles set to that radio station. The graphics are great if you stay in one place long enough and don't overtax your PC or console. I played on the PS4, and I know that Sony has, and at the time of this, as far as I'm aware, they still don't have Cyberpunk 2077 up on their on the PlayStation Store. Later on I'll get to my opinion on that, but anyway, yep, the cityscapes look great, quite beautiful, both at day and at night. You have these great big sort of holographic billboards that go up into the sky, and they're pretty impressive. Yeah, and the different parts of the city are quite dynamic as well. When you create your character, you sort of design their looks, just as you do with a lot of other RPGs. But I personally suggest when you make them, you don't give them the cybernetics, which is these sort of panels around your eyes and across your face, since they can actually make your face look quite grainy in some of the cutscenes and the reflections in the mirror. You get plenty of styles of clothing to wear for the various parts of your body, so you can make your own particular style. Your character's outfit is rendered when on cars and bikes, but this is really the only chance you get to see your character in the game world. I mean, you do have mirrors, but it's telling that to use mirrors you have to sort of press a button to use them. It doesn't automatically render your own reflection. And I wonder if that has something to do with it, with the adding extra strain to your console or computer. Gunplay is good and fun, as is hacking. The hacking is also essential for stealth. Pump action shotguns are less useful than you'd think. When you try to reload them, it has to reload every single shell before the gun is usable again, so you can't sort of stop halfway through after having loaded a couple in. It becomes very irritating in firefights when you just need to unload just one round into an opponent right in front of you. The weapon and armor drops are leveled, with the occasional one being above your level, and most being less powerful than the weapon you have, so you do spend a lot of time just dismantling weapons for a handful of parts. These parts can also be used to craft new items or upgrade existing ones. But you can only really upgrade the weapon or armor once, as effectively as each level up requires even more components of a rarer type. So because you have a limited number of these rarer type of components, it becomes an awful lot more costly to keep a weapon you quite like still relevant, if you know what I mean. Smart weapons are dropped very rarely, and they are almost always of a lower quality than the weapons you've got at the time, so smart weapons I almost never used, simply because they just weren't very effective, and I didn't have the required augmentation to enable you to use the tracking function on them until later on in the game. The leveling of the armor often means you're pressured to downgrade your look to upgrade your armor, which I found a bit irritating. I got a pretty stylish look at one point, and then the game difficulty increased, so I had to swap out most of my armor components in order to stay functional. The game doesn't handle stealth play too well, as I felt there weren't that many gaps in the enemy's vision to sort of exploit, but then stealth play isn't really necessary in any situation in this game. I mean, I think you can always just charge in and wreak havoc. The game doesn't have any vents to circumvent guards, which also hinders stealth play if you want to go down a stealthy route. I mean, you can get silencers for weapons, but they also they do decrease the damage of your weapon, but unless you're attacking a target from stealth, in which case they like double the damage it causes. So you'd only really want to use silencers on weapons that do a lot of damage with just one shot. Hacking proved especially useful in stealth sections, and there is reset optics ability, which you can do through hacking, which temporarily blinds a foe you're targeting, was really one of the best ways of advancing through these sections. I found it quite irritating that stealth takedowns can only be performed from a very narrow angle from behind a target, or if you've blinded them using resetting the optics, and you can stand right in front of them and they could be completely oblivious to you, but you have no ability to immediately take them down with a grapple move, which I found quite irritating. Most character perks I found seemed quite unnecessary. I think I used like a dozen or so of them, but there was an awful lot more available. The game's easy difficulty setting is definitely easy, and offered me very few serious challenges in keeping my character alive. So if you do just want to play this for the story, and it is that there's no real skill barriers in this game. Attributes are considerably more important than perks, but I only found myself upgrading them in order to meet the criteria of forcing an unlocked door open, hacking into a data terminal, unlocking a speech option, or meeting the criteria for an augmentation. you get 5 different attributes. You get your strength, sort of your physique, I think it is called. You get reflex, which is like your dodge ability, and that's the one I found useless. You get your technical ability, which enables you to sort of unlock doors and increases your armor the further up you develop it. You get your intelligence, which affects your hacking, and you get your cool, which affects some dialogue options, and your ability with stealth. Augmentations in the game I found useless, which is surprising for a game that has it embedded into the aesthetic, culture and society of the game world. You do get special weapons for your arms, which are like the mantis blades, which are shown heavily in the promotional material for it. You really don't need these, that they're not essential to success in the game. I've recently unlocked a double jump, which is, I'll admit, that's considerably helps me get around, particularly in stealth sections, well, sections where you can be stealthy. It does enable you to get up quite high, so you can look down on your opponents and pick them off one by one and maneuver around them. But yeah, augmentations, they either give you like slight increases, or the ones which are worth enough to buy tend to cost a lot of money. So I generally didn't find the augmentations useful. The only vehicles worth driving are bikes, as they are small and manoeuvrable enough to get between cars and traffic. Characters are developed and appropriately shaped by their particular life history. I enjoyed most of the supporting characters. Johnny Silverhand, on the other hand, while he is excellently played by Keanu Reeves, I found his constant berating and nihilism often makes him feel like the game's main antagonist. I mean, he has a lot of reasons to feel the way he does and end up in the position he does, but he did feel like he brought I found him really annoying in certain points. The story is great and authentic to the ideals it is trying to convey. It does a great job of pitting the philosophical conundrums faced with the human situations in the endgame decision making. A lot of the missions, though, need some kind of pruning done to make them flow better. Sometimes it's unnecessary obstacles in the way of when you're trying to rush from one place to another. The story does a great job of building up your connection to your supporting characters and justifying your animosity towards Arasaka, the big bad corporation of the game, and the Cyberpunk world. I didn't encounter any game-breaking bugs. I found a lot of pop-ins of textures and reuse of the same character models and vehicles when arriving at a new location, and when travelling quickly along the highways, especially leaving Night City. The game has a difficult time loading in environmental textures, and once when driving a super fast car, I think I outrun the game's ability to load in the traffic, so I had perfectly clear roads. As mentioned, the game has a lot of pop-in problems and a mix of tedious and pointless game mechanics, along with microflow problems on a lot of its core story missions. But if you like good, intelligent storytelling and an emotional involvement in your games, along with good gameplay, check this game out. Especially, currently it is unavailable on the PlayStation Store, but having played it through, I would argue that at this point it is worth returning to the store. It's still of better quality than other games I've played recently that are available on there. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope I will see you in more videos in the future. Thank you, take care, and goodbye. Oh, and if you could leave a comment and or subscribe. And a like. Yeah, that'd be good. Alright, thanks, bye.